to interview Sega's development team creative assembly for their title Shogun 4, which is actually a Total War series. Okay? So, real quickly, I want you to introduce yourself and introduce the title that you guys are working on, have been working on, and talk about the Total War series and why this game is a little bit different and the departure from the rest.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Craig Laycock. I'm the community manager for Total War at the Creative Assembly. So I'm based in the UK. I've flown over for this event to be with you guys. So Total War series in general, it's a kind of a mix of turn-based and real-time battles. So you've got a turn-based campaign map, and then when you fight battles, you kind of go into a 3D real-time mode. In terms of what sets Shogun 2 apart from previous Total War games, we've got things like a character skills tree, so you can kind of customize your own agents on the campaign map. We've ramped up the graphical quality. You can have 56,000 guys on screen at any one time now. So in like 200 light sources in the battles. We've got fire arrows, night battles, all kinds of cool stuff. Weather effects, you can pooling water on the battlefield. So just taking everything a step further and kind of ramping it up, and whilst still being true to the original Shogun, which we made 10 years ago now.
Yeah. So what is so much different in terms of gameplay in this particular Total War series? And you talked on a couple of features, but from a stylistic representation, what does that mean to the gameplay?
Talking of stylistic representation, I mean, the game is very much an art-driven project. It's completely permeates throughout the entire game. I mean, we kind of let the artists choose the style and then go with it, and then that kind of drove the gameplay a little bit. So things like the paper map. See, when you've not explored an area of the map, it will kind of appear as a paper 2D map, and then as you explore it, it'll become 3D, and that reveals enemy positions. So that kind of has an effect on the gameplay. Because you need to go out and explore these positions. It's not like the whole world is there for you. You've got to go out and explore, and that kind of reveals as it reveals the positions, it kind of gives you a better idea of what to do tactically. So there's a whole kind of level of strategy, that kind of gameplay that kind of ties into the art style.
And I take it this game is strictly on a PC at the moment. Is there any migration thought process of taking it from the PC to a console?
Yeah, well, it's PC at the moment. We wouldn't rule out consoles in future. It all depends on really getting the control system right. That's the key thing, because using a mouse and keyboard, it's kind of a perfect setup for Total War, because you're kind of dragging your troops out and you're micromanaging. We would have to get a control method that worked. Technically, it's possible. We can run Shogun 2 on consoles. You know, we can have tech demos internally that show we can do it. It's just a case of getting the control system right. So.
What about motion control, like the connect and the move? I mean, perhaps they can be a different factor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that sort of stuff's really interesting to us at the moment. We're really keeping an eye on it quite closely, seeing which way it's going to develop. In fact, some guy in the community made a Rome Total War mod using Kinect, and he kind of showed himself controlling it. And he had voice activation for the units. So he'd be like, "War dogs attack!" And then they'd go and do it.
That's awesome.
He kind of moves around with his hands, and it looked really good. So.
Did that give you guys an inspiration to maybe look in the future, or it was just an example of maybe something the community does from an ingenuity standpoint?
Well, maybe. I mean, it's great that the community's doing this kind of stuff. But, you know, if something like that comes along and it works, then, hey, we'd be foolish to overlook it. So.
Now, talk to me from an RPG standpoint in terms of the story and the character development and the game development. What was it that Creative Assembly wanted to get across with this particular Shogun game, Total War?
So really, it's about, I suppose it's about unification and balance. So instead of, like with Empire and Napoleon, our previous games, it was either story-driven through, like with Napoleon, you played as Napoleon. With Empire, it was more like you had the whole world and you had to conquer it. With Shogun 2, it's more about kind of unifying Japan and taking this one nation. You know what it looks like from the start, you know how many regions there are, you know what you've got to do, and it's just kind of giving the player the opportunity to do it. So it's kind of a voyage of self-discovery almost, because you're kind of going out and making your own path as you go. So,
are there any political things that go on in the game, that decisions that the player has to make that affect not only just what you do, but what other players are doing? Or NPC characters, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got things like dilemmas in the game, which will get thrown up every now and again. So you might have an earthquake, and you have to say, well, do I want to give money to the settlement to help the relief efforts, which will improve my standing with that settlement, or do I just want to save the money and not and become a bad leader? So there's all kinds of decisions like that get thrown in. On top of that, there's the whole diplomacy side of things, and there's kind of a whole level of clan intrigue and politics there.
Oh, really?
Because you're kind of dealing with other clans, like you're dealing with the other leaders out there, and you can do all kinds of stuff like alliances. You can declare war on them. You can trade goods, and there's a whole kind of level there. So yeah, there's loads of political
So
stuff.
from a development standpoint, what is it that you wanted to achieve with this particular title, and how do you think it affects the genre itself going forward?
Well, I think we wanted to make it the best Total War game yet. That's really that was the bottom line. The best Total War game yet. That was kind of the top level brief. In terms of what we're doing for the genre, we've kind of almost made the genre our own now because we've got this kind of blend, this unique blend of turn-based and real-time strategy. So it's kind of it's kind of our own thing, and we're just pushing it as far as we can and pushing it further and further and further. So yeah, I mean, I guess we're just trying to make the genre better and trying to make our games as good as they can be.
So what's next? Are there any expansion packs to the title that are planned for the future? What goodies can the gaming community look forward to that's going to get into this title?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't announced any plans on expansion packs yet, but I think it's a strong possibility that we will do expansion packs and DLC because obviously it's a potential game. We've got so much potential there in terms of the stuff we can do. So yeah, we want to.
And what's your release date? What is your window for release of the title?
We're releasing worldwide on March 15th, 2011. So we're 3 weeks away now.
Oh wow! So you guys excited for this launch?
Really excited, yeah.
So how long has this press event been going on? Is this just the first one of many, or have this been over the?
Well, we've been working press events pretty much most of the development of Shogun 2. So we've done tours of Australia, New Zealand, we've done the States. Jen was out for a month over here.
So you've got a lot of travel mileage or freaking flies on your.
I can't spend them at the moment because I'm so busy. But yeah, I'm building up the air miles. It's great.
Let me get some footage of the titles. Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. I mean, feel free to mess around with the menus and stuff. Do what you like.
Mind if I peek over your shoulder?
Do you need any more info or anything as well?
Absolutely.
I'll give you